ahead and practice using Photoshop. So the first thing you're going to want to do is sign into a computer. The background will probably look like this once you sign in. And then you're going to go ahead and click on this little icon down here. It's Adobe Photoshop. The PS stands for Photoshop. It's probably going to have a big screen. It's going to prompt you to sign in. Okay, you're going to want to sign in via Google, and you're going to be using your Springfield student email account and your password that you use for everything. Okay, this might take a little bit to sign in. I had to do a lot of prompts, but once you do, you're able to get into Photoshop. Okay, Photoshop is going to prompt you most likely with this type of window that says new document. You don't need to make a new document. A lot of times when we use Photoshop, we're actually going to be going up to File and Open, or short key is Command O. You are going to find the photos that you have taken for your photo composition hunt. They might be in your desktop, your downloads, wherever they are. You're going to go ahead and click on one of the photos that you want to go ahead and open and use. Once you do that, it's going to pop up into Photoshop like this, okay? Let's talk about a couple things you're going to need to do to help you be successful in Photoshop. First, you're going to want to make sure that in System Settings, under your mouse, that right here where it says secondary click, it's probably going to say off. You are going to want to make sure you have click right side available. Okay, the reason being is that when you are actually working with tools in Photoshop, you're going to want to use that right click. That's what I just did here to help you actually play around with brush sizes, with hardness, with where you want your brush to go, etc. So having your right click for your mouse in Photoshop is really helpful. Okay, let's talk about some things that we're going to see in Photoshop. So the first thing is going to be over here. This is our layers panel, okay? Whenever you put a photo into Photoshop, it's going to have this lock over here on the right-hand side. It says indicates layer is partially locked. Go ahead and click it. Once you do that, you can actually make adjustments to your photo. Okay, if this was locked, you couldn't. All right, so that's one of the biggest things my kids always forget is, oh, why can't I actually work in my photo? It's most likely because the layer is locked. All right, the next thing I want to do is come up to this top panel up here and click on Image. Under Image, you have adjustments, and through adjustments, you have so many different things you can do with your photo. I would suggest playing around with a lot of these. Curves is most likely what we'll use a lot in Yearbook to actually edit photos. So if your photo is too dark, you can lighten it up. If your photo is too light, you could potentially darken it. The other fun thing about curves is you can put points into here like that, and you can really make your photo look super cool. Okay, so now our photo looks like this. I love it. I think it looks awesome. Would I use this in the yearbook? Probably not, but I just think it makes for a really cool looking photo. All right, so now let's go over onto the left-hand side. We have got a ton of different tools for you to use. The first one is this, your Move tool, okay? It should be selected the majority of the time you're working with your photo. It allows you to move your photo out of the frame that it's currently set in. Okay, then you've got something like your crop tool. Your crop tool allows you to crop your photo, pretty simple, okay? Then you are gonna have eyedropper tool, and all of these tools have multiple tools within them. So if you click and hold down, you're gonna see all these different tools within here, okay? Same for your crop, hold it down, you've got so many different tools, all right? Let's see here, you've got your frame tool, you've got an eraser tool. When you use your eraser tool, it's gonna erase the background of a photo. The way that you can change your brush size is over here. So if I wanted a smaller brush, I'm gonna right click and now I'm getting rid of the background, okay? You also have a brush tool. It allows you to draw on your photo. Your brush tool can do so many more things than just draw, but you also have other brushes and kind of pencil tools to work with as well, okay? You have something called the clone stamp tool. I love this tool. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to hold down Option, define the area that I want to clone, And now I'm gonna go ahead and put a TV into the sky, okay? So that's gonna be my clone stamp tool. All right, let's say I really, really don't like what I just did here, okay? I'm gonna come back up to my move tool, get out of the clone stamp tool, and come over here to the right-hand side where it says history. And let's say I don't like any of the edits I made to my photo. I'm just gonna come up here and click way up here, maybe even this if I wanna revert what I did. And now I've got a fresh, clean slate. My photo is back to normal and I can work with this again, okay? Another great tool over on your left-hand side would be your zoom tool. This allows you to get closer to your photo. If you right click, you can also zoom out of your photo too, okay? So those are some of the basic things that you can do. A lot of Photoshop is honestly playing around with things so that you can make stuff. We'll do some more Photoshop tutorials in the future, but the last thing I want to show you guys is, because you're going to do it today, is how to create a cutout and place it into another photo. So we're going to leave this alone right now, our Hayward photo. And we're gonna go ahead and go to File and Open. I want you to find a photo of a person that you can see most of their body. I can see her entire body. This is a really great photo for a cutout, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna go ahead and open this photo. It's a bit small. Let's go ahead and use our zoom tool to open it up just a little bit bigger, okay? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and unlock the background so I can actually work in my photo. And I'm gonna use this tool called the Magnetic Lasso tool. Now, if you hold and click, you've got other tools in here as well. I find the Magnetic Lasso tool to be the best to get these really sharp angles that I want on my photo, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and start down here. I'm gonna try to move pretty quickly through this photo, so it's not gonna be perfect. When you guys do cutouts of photos, you're gonna want to be a lot more precise, okay? But you guys can kind of get the gist of what the Magnetic Lasso tool does. It does define the edge of your subject, whatever subject is in your photo. It can pretty much define and pinpoint what that is. The only times this tool really doesn't work is when you have a really crowded background and your subject, whatever you want to cut out in your photo, is not very defined, okay? So that can kind of be an issue sometimes. Now her hair, I'm gonna be honest, all hair, boys, girls' hair, whatever hair it might be, is so hard to cut out sometimes. This is probably the area where you would have to be the most precise, and you might have to come in and do multiple edits on the hair. As you can see, I'm so not being perfect with her hair right now. I'm literally just trying to show you guys how to cut out an image using this tool. All right, bear with me here, okay? And as you can see, the tool itself is struggling to define parts of hair. And like I said, honestly, everyone's hair, unless you're bald, you know, if you're bald, you can make a really great photo. But if not, having any type of hair can make it really difficult to cut out photos. All right, we're getting closer. Again, this is not going to be perfect. I'm just trying to get you guys to see how this can work. See, oh, not perfect, not perfect. But that's because I'm moving super fast right now. In this type of photo, you would probably spend about 5 or 10 minutes trying to cut out. And if you're an editor in class, this is something that you literally can say, hey, I want you, my staffer, now that you know how to do this, to go ahead and work in Photoshop and edit a photo and cut it out for me for the yearbook, okay? And again, this type of stuff takes practice. It takes patience. And you can see Miss McGuire is trying her best to move quickly through this, and click. All right, woo, we got through it. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we are still in the magnetic lasso tool. I haven't clicked on anything. I'm going to click on this move tool. As you can see, everything is highlighted, right? I would call these like little bee lines, buzz lines, whatever they are, but you can see that they're moving. Now, if you were to hit delete, you would delete your person right now. We don't want to delete our person. So what we have to do is I'm going to go back into this tool, right click, and I'm going to select the inverse. What that does is now if we delete, it would take out the entire background, okay? The way that we have to get out of this tool, so we get out of these lines, is just click deselect, okay? Do not click deselect until you are ready to cut out the photo exactly how you want it. Now, you can always come back in and make additional edits with this tool, okay? Or potentially, if you don't like how the tool is not getting a perfectly defined area, right? You could go ahead and, again, deselect, and then go into your eraser tool and potentially erase little small parts that you don't like, that you can still see, and you want to get a more defined picture, okay? Now, for now, this is going to be good enough. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to go ahead and go over to my layers panel, make sure my photo is selected, and do Command C, or if we right click, I just want to make sure I can copy this, okay? So Command C, and now we're going to go into our first photo, Hayward, and we're going to go Command V or paste. Now you can see that over in our layers panel, we have multiple layers, okay? If I were to put her on top, we could actually move her around in this photo, okay? And now she is on top of here. So that is my super simple, very quick explanation of how to do some edits, work in Photoshop, and move around your photo. All right, thanks so much. Nope, no, I'm not done yet. Hold on. Save your stuff. Go to File, click Save. All right, what you're gonna want to do, I always save on my computer. I don't really like to save to Creative Cloud. And you can save it as a Photoshop file. That's completely fine. You should save it as a Photoshop file. Now, whenever you go into, I think it's gonna be your downloads, you're gonna have your PSD file, okay? PSD.PSD stands for Photoshop, and that basically means you would open it up, it's gonna open up in Photoshop. If you were to just open this photo on its own, it's gonna pop up like this. But if you were going to open up a PSD file, it's gonna be this. It's gonna open up in Photoshop. So let's say you're ready to export your photo, you've done your edits, awesome job. You need to go to File, Export, and then Export As, okay? This whole panel is gonna pop up, and it's basically just gonna say that, do you want your photo as a PNG or a JPEG? I would never do a GIF, PNG or JPEG. Honestly, I would do a PNG, but that's just my preference, and click Export. It's gonna ask you what you wanna name this. Let's rename it Track Photo Cutout, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my desktop so I can see it really easily. Save it. And now, if I go onto my desktop, I'm gonna see this as a photo that I did. It's cool, I made it. And that is how you can work and do some basic stuff in Photoshop. All right.